Dragon's Dogma 2 does not hold your hand at all. There is so much to learn, so many items to find, and so many awesome mechanics in this game, yet they purposely don't really tell you all that much. And so today I wanted to cover some of the best items, such as this awesome Cyclops helmet and the Black Matter hammer, a few skills, and even just some fun locations that you guys should be checking out early on in the game. Now, the first one is actually a location. There's nothing specifically in this location that is an absolute necessity to get, but there are just some general really good items here, as well as being a really easy place to explore early on in the game. This place is known as the Cave of the Forsaken. It is located up here to the north of Vernworth, on the main path between Vernworth and Malv. Now, there are actually 3 entrances to this cave. 2 of them do require a mage that can levitate, and the fastest one to get to from Malv is this one here, which does require a mage. So it is helpful to either be a mage yourself and learn the levitate skill, or just hire a mage as your pawn who can levitate as well. If that is not the case, you can enter from this bend in the track that is on the way from Vernworth and Malv. It's a pretty easy path to run up here, and once you get through that bend in the track, once you're round the bend, you just turn back on yourself and sort of climb up this little side pathway to get in. So you can get in here without a mage, but that first area that I mentioned is just kind of quicker to get to. Now, like I said, there's nothing crazy inside compared to the rest of the stuff in this video. Nothing super particular anyway, but you can find some decent stuff in here. One of those items is called the Hunter's Bow, so this is really good if you're an archer. There is also a headpiece called the Scale Band that's very decent as well. And probably the best item in this cave is the Ring of Exaltation, which actually gives you more base HP. Plus there is just a heap of gold and stuff like that in this cave, so it is absolutely worth checking out. Now, on top of that, there is a really fun ogre fight. I'm sure you guys know how big the ogres are, and you can imagine fighting one inside the cave. It is very, very tight and tense in there, so it is just a really fun fight that you're not going to really experience many other places in the game. Now, it's also worth mentioning at this chest, which is across from the back entrance that I mentioned where you don't need a mage to get in, there is also a chest that has a Wakestone shard, so be sure to go to that location. You can see it from the back entrance as soon as you walk out, so it's pretty hard to miss. And for those who don't know, a Wakestone shard, if you get 3 of those, you can get a full Wakestone, which revives you in battle when you die, so it's absolutely worth getting. Those are so clutch when it comes to those boss fights. Now, the next thing you want to be doing is to do with an elite camping kit, as well as making some very, very easy money. So you want to head to the West Vernworth Ox Cart and travel to a town called Checkpoint Rest Town. As soon as you get here, you should be approached by this Beastren. If not, just go up to him. He'll be standing somewhere around the initial area of the town. And when you speak to him, he asks you to find a Jadeite orb. It'll give you a quest and everything. And initially it seems like that is going to be some lengthy quest where you've got to go and find this hard to find orb. Well, it turns out you can literally just go to Ibrahim's scrap store, which is in this town. You can see it here on the map, and you can simply buy the orb here. Now, it does cost 7,500 gold. However, you should have more than enough from that previous cave that I mentioned, and you will actually gain all of this back and more if you follow these steps. You want to buy that orb from Ibrahim, and then you want to actually ask him to do a forgery for you. That'll cost a further 2,000 gold, and it also requires you to wait about 2 days. So there is a bench right nearby the store. Just go and sit and spam that doze off button until you can see 2 days and 2 nights have passed. You then want to go back to Ibrahim and grab both your real orb and the fake orb as well. Once you've got those, you want to take the fake orb and give it to the Beastren. He's not going to know any better, so he'll give you the elite camping kit. As far as I know, this is the best camping kit in the game, at least early on anyway. There may be some late game that are a little bit better, but I've not found anything even remotely as good as this so far in my 20 odd hours of playtime. Not only does it weigh a lot less than most camping kits, but it's also very sturdy, so if you get attacked while camping, it won't just break on the spot. Now, as I'm sure you remember, we did the forgery where we now have the fake orb and the real orb. The reason we need to do that is that there's another guy in this town. You can find him pretty easily as he's got this huge rucksack on his back, and he also wants the orb, but he needs the real one. Talk to this guy, give him the real orb. He'll actually take it back to Ibrahim to verify its authenticity. When it turns out to be real, he then gives you 12,000 gold and a ring of skullduggery that increases the damage dealt from behind an enemy, which is actually really good for the thief vocation. So from this, you're going to gain a really good camping kit, 12,000 gold and that ring, all for doing essentially nothing. Now, before we go any further, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Over 99% of the views on the channel since I've been covering Dragon's Dogma 2 have come from those of you who are not subscribed to the channel. And so if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button. It would help me out massively and it would be very much appreciated. But with that being said, let's get stuck back into it. Now, the next item is going to really help with increasing your carry weight. I'm sure you guys guys have run into a lot of issues where you're just always carrying too much weight, and this is going to try and stop that happening. There's a quest in Vernworth that is accessed via this young fella called Sven. He needs an item called the Ornate Box, which can actually just be purchased from this vendor for I think only about 1,000 or 2,000 gold. You want to buy the box and you want to take it to Sven. He'll thank you for it. Then you just need to go and sit on a bench or rest at an inn for another 2 days. After that, you want to come back to the fountain area and Sven will be waiting for you sitting on the fountain. You just want to talk to him. He'll give you a small reward for it. It doesn't seem like much at the time, but then you can actually just repeat that process. So just go and wait another 2 days and come back, and he'll actually have another reward for you, this being the Ring of Accrual, which increases your maximum carry weight. Now, the next thing on my list here is actually to do with that exact same thing. This is not an item, but this is a skill, and it's going to increase your carry weight even more. Now, this is a vocation augment called Thew, and what you need to do to unlock this is to play as the fighter vocation until you get to level 6. It honestly doesn't take all that long. It's probably 2 to 3 hours or so of playtime, and the XP just comes through getting kills. So just change to the fighter class, go and play the game normally for a couple of hours, and I'm sure you'll get to level 6 fairly quickly. Once you get to level 6, you can then go to a vocation guild and gain an augment called Thew, like I said, and that allows you to carry additional weight. But the good thing about these augments is that once you unlock this, you can equip it on any vocation that you play, not just the fighter. So if you want to change to a mage after that, you can still have this augment, and that is going to allow you to carry more weight, which in combination with that Ring of Accrual that I just mentioned, both of these are very, very handy. Now, next up, we have another location that again doesn't have really anything in particular that you want to be going for, but there's just a lot of really, really good stuff in here, as well as 2 hidden boss fights. And funnily enough, this is actually about 5 meters from where you start the game. When you crash on the Griffin and you sort of head on your way from there, this is actually right behind you. So most people who play the game are just going to sort of follow the story, and you're going to go down that hill and go to the Border Watch outpost. But funnily enough, if you turn around, you can enter this from the very beginning of the game. From that Border Watch outpost, you just want to head back up this path here, and it is essentially impossible to miss. There's only really one way to get here. Now, it is a pretty big cave, and I was in here for about an hour and a half, so there's a lot of exploring to do. There's actually 3 levels. Most of it all takes place on one level of the cave, but there's a top level and a bottom level as well that are both a lot smaller but still have some good rewards. There's some awesome stuff in here. There is like a ferry stone where you can find all the saurians. So if you're seeing a bunch of saurians, just wander around and you will find that chest with the ferry stone. There's also upwards of 10,000 gold in this cave as well as just lots of smaller rewards too. Now, the main reason you want to come here is just for an awesome boss fight. This is a Chimera fight. It's the first Chimera that I've seen in the game, and it is genuinely pretty hard. It took me 5 attempts, and I don't think I'd even died in this game before I got to this part, yet it killed me 5 times. So it's pretty damn hard, I'm not gonna lie, but it is definitely very fun. Now, after that, there is also a white boss fight as well. It's pretty difficult for a melee class to deal with, so if you're coming here to just fight these bosses, I would potentially play as like a mage, or if you've got the Mystic Spear hand, you can definitely deal with these a little bit better. How you get to this though is that you have to open this chest here, which is on that 2nd level that I just mentioned, which is above where you fought the Chimera. From that chest, you'll actually get a Wake Stone, which is definitely worth getting as well, but opening that chest will actually spawn the white and some skeletons, so just be prepared for that. If at any point you are losing a heap of health and you need to rest, there is a back entrance. You can see it here on the map. From that back entrance, you can then head down to this little campsite, which is sort of on the way to that Border Watch outpost. So yeah, if at any point you need to escape and just go to a campsite, there's one nearby, which is very, very helpful. Now, I've saved the best for last. This little quest actually includes 3 different things, which is the Cyclops helmet, the Black Matter hammer, and a key that allows you to get into a vault in the Vernworth Castle, which gives you some awesome items as well as 20,000 gold. What you want to do is head to the checkpoint rest town that I mentioned earlier. You can get there via the West Vernworth ox cart. From the main entrance, you want to head along this path here. It'll take you down a massive hill, and you should definitely watch out for all the boulders because they will all go crashing down that hill. Now, you get to this location called the Ancient Battleground. I'm not going to spoil what's there because I want you guys to experience that for yourself. It's not story spoilers or anything. It's just something absolutely insane that you guys need to see. So I'm not going to show that in this video, but all you need to know is there's a couple enemies there, and you probably want to avoid those enemies unless you're an absolute psychopath. If you want to avoid them, all you need to do is just kind of hug this hill over to the left. and eventually you'll get to safety and you'll get to this pathway that leads you up to the castle. Now there's also a chance that an NPC called Oscar will start a quest with you. You may as well do it because he just takes you where you need to go anyway, but you don't need to do that quest. So if he doesn't show up, don't worry about that. Now once you get to the castle, you want to enter and take out these skeletons and then immediately head to your left. Follow this path to get up to the ladder and above ground. Then you want to cross this little grass area and go back down this ladder. There'll be a couple of more skeletons in there. From there, you want to head to this door on your right and head up these couple of flights of stairs and then enter this room to the right. There's a really cool spell tome there, but in the chest in the corner, you'll find a key, and we'll save that for later on. What's worth noting is that my pawn actually looted this for me. And so if that happens to you guys as well, just go into your inventory and just give the key to yourself rather than your pawn, just to make sure that you can use it. Now, after that, you want to head out of that room and turn right and head up the winding staircase and another ladder, and eventually you'll come to this area. Turn left up these stairs and you'll find a sleeping Cyclops, and you'll need to take him out. Now, he's a little bit harder than a normal Cyclops because he's got that big helmet on, so climbing on him and damaging his head is a bit less effective, but it is still a really good strategy. Now, once he dies, there is a chest that he was guarding, and you'll be able to get that black matter hammer from there, but don't forget to loot his body as well, because that is where you'll find the helmet. Both of these are absolutely awesome. I had almost no interest in the warrior vocation until I got these, because not only do they look sick, but they have some insane stats. The hammer deals 419 damage per hit and has 381 knockdown power. So this thing is an absolute beast, and whether you're already playing as a warrior or if you've never played them, it is absolutely worth trying. Anyway, from there you want to head back to Vernworth. It is probably worth using a ferry stone if you have spare ones, just because it is a long hike back to the checkpoint rest town. Now once you're back in Vernworth, you just want to head up to the castle until you get to the entrance where you'll find these big doors. Enter the doors, head left immediately, and follow this path all the way until the end of these long hallways, down a few stairs and stuff, but you can't really miss it. And eventually you will come to the vault, where if you've got that key that I just mentioned earlier, you'll be able to get in. In this vault, there are 4 chests. You'll get the Ring of Reassurance, a decayed Medusa head, a really good shield if you like the fighter class, and this awesome cloak as well, which really suits the warrior class and is perfect for the rest of the stuff that you just got. Next to that as well, you'll find 20,000 gold on the ground here. Funnily enough, when I picked it up, it was actually 21,000 for some reason. So this is definitely a worthy reward for all of your efforts at the ancient battleground castle. So anyway, those are some of the items, skills, and locations you guys should be checking out early on in Dragon's Dogma 2. I've got so much more content like this on the way. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more Dragon's Dogma content. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.